Sunday, everybody. Woo! What a chilly Sunday it is, but a beautiful Sunday. Look at this sunshine. So it's probably going to warm up pretty soon. But right now, there's a chill in the air. But that's not why you came here today. All right. If you don't know who I am, I'm Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can check out a little bit more about me by checking out my website, which is linked down below, kittensweightsandtarot.com. Maybe checking out the Witchy Shop, Desert Cauldron. Or if you're looking for a crystal buddy or companion, checking out James's shop on Etsy, Light of Riga. But all that information is down below. Looks like our mighty moderators are here. Hello. Hey, Susie, how are you? Hope you had fun last week. Liesel's here. Says, how are things, Susie? All righty. Excellent. Lisa says, just dropping in to say hi. I won't stay long today. To be honest, I have some issues today. All right. Well, I hope that you have fun and the time that you are here. All righty. Everybody's saying hello, skis. Hello. All right. Well, first of all, how those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving, how was your Thanksgiving? People that got together with family. How was this past week? Is anybody diving into those and the weekend sales, and somehow it continues on to like Cyber Monday and Tuesday? But yeah, this Black Friday has lasted like 2 weeks now, 3 from some stores. Dirty Work is here. Good morning, Lily. Hello. She says grand rising all. Hello to everyone. Yeah, so well, I guess I could give you a rundown of how our Thanksgiving was over here at the Cauldron. But yeah, let me know what you guys did this past week. If you have any plans for this upcoming week, maybe you guys have plans for today. I would love to hear from you guys. So on Tuesday, James and I went to go visit our favorite place, the Petrified Forest. And if any of you guys are in Arizona or are passing through Arizona, if you get off the Highway 40, which is like Route 66, then you can stop at the Petrified National Park. So there are people that have like the National Parks Pass. Your pass works there. Or if you have just the Petrified Forest Pass, which is what James and I have, I think it's like $40 or something like that, but it's like good for the whole year, which is pretty cool because it's a massive park, and it takes like to get from the entrance that we come in, which is not the Route 66 entrance, but the other end of the park, to get to the other end of the park is like an hour because it's huge. And so, it is wonderful for people who, just want to drive on through, and they have little stops for you to, get out and, have a look. They have some marked off areas like at Newspaper Rock where they have some petroglyphs for people to look at, some cool rock formations. And there's a place called the Teepees, but it's because like the cool like formations kind of look like ginormous teepees. But they also have, for those who are more adventurous, maybe want to go out on some hikes, they do have some exploratory areas. So there are some wilderness areas, and you're just allowed to have at it. Go where ye may. And they just ask that you don't take the park resources, which is a good idea because from what I read in the Petrified Forest book, like resources were just like, they didn't care at the beginning. Before this park became a national park, we were just like taking petrified wood, and they were crushing it down for cleaning products, like hundreds of millions of year-old petrified wood being crushed for cleaning products. Like, what the heck? So yeah, now everything is protected, and so they just ask that of the millions of visitors that they get each year, that you just don't take any of the resources. Because imagine if one person took one piece, then and there's like a million visitors, it's like a million pieces that are going to be stolen each year. So walk through it, tap into the stuff there, have a little feel with it, and then leave it for future generations. So anyway, we did that. We went to the petrified forest. We try to go to different areas. So we went to an area that we call the Badlands. I mean, we could go more bad in the Badlands, but I think we were out there for a few hours again. But it was a lot of fun. We did come across, it was the mangled pieces. It was just bones that were left of, I think, a coyote that was out there. But yeah. Other than that, there was just really cool bits of petrified wood. I realized, after reading that book that we checked out from the library, that there's two different kinds of like petrified wood. I guess there's the petrified kind, and then there's the was it demineralized or mineralized? I forget. So the petrified wood is where basically crystals and stone and everything have replaced the original organic material in the wood. And then the other mineralization or something is where there are still cells from the original wood there. So everything has kind of become mineralized, but it still retains its organic properties, if I recall, which is pretty neat. And some of the wood out there, you could see all the lines in the bark, that used to be, you could see the holes where the like millions of year old woodpeckers like had pecked at it a long time ago. You could see the scratch marks in the wood from like before it became petrified, and from like bears and dinosaurs and whatnot. They have so many fossils that they found in the park. I believe they bring out like UC Berkeley and a couple other places. The Smithsonian has been out there to look at. It's just a very unique place. That's what I gotta say. It's very unique. It's very different. It's kind of like smack dab in the middle of nowhere in its uniqueness. It's just, I don't know, you guys have to see it for yourself. Um, yeah, so we had a bunch of fun out there. Great for meditation, great for getting a little stony and going for a walk. And then we had our Thanksgiving. So on Thursday, we decided to have a Mediterranean feast. And, we try to do something a little different each year. And so this year I made baklava, I made saffron rice, I made falafel, I made a salad, and James made hummus, and we bought some pita bread. Oh, and some sparkling cider. We got to have it actually over in that direction. There's like a little cliff sort of that overlooks one of our canyons. So we got to have a nice little dinner out there, brought out the candle, got to watch the sunset. It was so freaking magical. And so, yeah, we've been just eating all the leftovers and everything. I think we finished all our leftovers now, though. I think we finished the last of the saffron rice yesterday. But yeah, I've been feeling pretty bougie, with all that saffron, because saffron, it's like, dude, why are people dealing drugs? They need to get into the spice trade because like buying like saffron threads, they like sell it by the gram. I'm like, whoa, what kind of drug deal is going on here? I was like, saffron is so freaking expensive. So I decided to make a tea with saffron yesterday. I did a mix of, it was green tea. I put it in my Desert Cauldron Instagram stories, but it was toasted coconut, green tea, cinnamon, cardamom. Yes, it was those things. Rose petals. There we go. And then I put one saffron thread in each of our cups so we could be like Uchi bougie. All right. So let's see. Susie was saying, glad that the forest now is protected. 30 Wixes sounds amazing. So yeah, we've just been around here hiking. Seems like everybody's in town today. Our neighbors that are working on their house showed up on Thursday, and they've been working on the house. We invited them over, but it sounded like they were hard at work on Thanksgiving. Yeah, everybody's just kind of out and about. I couldn't ask for better weather this close to winter. I mean, technically, when's the first day of winter? December 21st. I mean, the day last year, the day after Thanksgiving, was our first snowfall. And we had snow earlier, but that was like beginning of November, end of October, which was like out of nowhere, just like crazy amount of snow fell. And then it's been warming back up again. So it's been in the 60s actually. Kind of recently, I guess 50s, 50s, 60s. At night, sure, it's a little cold ass. It's like 20 some degrees, but during the day is great, especially if you're in the sun. And I know that they've been trying to like trail up the skies like it's going out of business, because maybe it is like the past few days, several days actually, which brings like this cloud cover and it gets real cold because, but anyway, they're not going to do it today, y'all. Okay. So let's go ahead and get to our weekly reading. So those of you who are new here watching the replay, we'll have our weekly reading, and then we get to what you guys voted on in the poll. And if you don't know what that is, so on Thursdays roundabouts on my YouTube channel page and over on my Patreon page and my YouTube members, they get a poll. And the poll has 4 choices, and you get to choose what you would like to see during that Sunday's live chat. So now if you are a patron or a YouTube member, technically you get more votes. And it was down to Patreon actually and YouTube for those votes that kind of pushed it forward into what we were doing today, which is cutting cords with longswords. That's right. So for James's birthday, I bought him a longsword. He also had gotten himself a longsword, so we have a couple of longswords. One is called the Bastard, because that's the actual name of the sword. It's called a bastard sword. And the other one is the Crusader. That's right, because it's supposed to be like the Knights Templar, the Crusaders. So yeah, the Crusader. So we have those. We'll do a little cord cutting after our weekly reading. Then if you guys would like to do super chats and super stickers, we'll do that for some card pulls. Afterwards, we have our channeled guided meditation. And that's that. So if you guys would like to join in on the weekly reading, that would be wonderful. I think that it helps to create a more well-rounded and more enriching type reading, especially when you guys have your input from your downloads, what your higher selves are having to say. So if you are going to be utilizing cards to access that intuition, or crystals, or runes, pendulum, whatever it may be, or maybe just good old-fashioned channeling, which I dig, then yeah, let me know what you're working with. Okay, let me show you what I'm working with. I think that lately I just can't get enough of Patrick Valenza over at the Deviant Moon, because he opened up his vault for Black Friday, and he was trying to get rid of some old stock so that he can make room for new stock, because he's still working on, I believe it's the Deviant Moon Oracle, and then he's working on a Lenormand as well. It's the Triomphe de la Luna Lenormand, and so I pre-ordered that one, but I ended up getting this one, the Zammer Twins Oracle. So you guys will probably like this. So I'll bust this out today, but I just wanted to show some of my other Patrick Valenza decks. So they'll just be here on retainer, I guess. But I have the Triomphe de la Luna Tarot. I have the Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantments. And I have Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle, which looks like this. Teeny little cards. And then, let's see. And then I have Felix Mack's Gallery of Hallucinations Oracle. So what I like about Patrick Valenza, not only is he a fabulous artist, and I like the way he writes things up, but over on his website, he has these different like blog posts, and they all connect to like the different decks that he's doing. So like for the Mildred Payne, there's a whole saga about Mildred Payne. And of course, these are fictional characters, but it's kind of cool because there's videos that go with it, like unearthing her grave. And it's just, it's artistic, which I love. It's creative, it's unique. And then there was a backstory on who Felix Nacht was, and his very evil wife, and how they found his gallery of art. There's also a story on the Zammer twins, so you can go on the website and learn a little bit more about that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some cards then for this upcoming week. And I think some of our other friends had joined in too. Our friend Mike Green was here as well. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull out both of these decks because I'm going to utilize both of them for the weekly reading. Okay, so I'm going to use the Zammer twins to kind of pull a theme card for this upcoming week, and then I'll pull a few cards from the Triunfo de la Luna. So let's go ahead and do that. Bump, but a bump. There we go. And let's pull a few of these tarot cards. Okay. And I don't know if the chat froze because I don't see the chat anymore. It like disappeared. So, okay. We'll roll with it. Yeah, that's going to be, we'll see how that works out. All right. Okay, so for the theme card, I have the buffoon this upcoming week. Look at this silly guy. He said too much of that laudanum. Seeing green fairies. That's something else. That's absinthe. What if he was downing laudanum with absinthe? Crazy. Okay. So let's go ahead and tap in here. Okay. So this is more just something to, I guess, reflect on for this upcoming week. So around this time, I guess mostly in the Northern Hemisphere, and not necessarily just in North America, but in the Northern Hemisphere, as we're going into our colder months, it seems like it is natural for people to want to like get the last of the wiggles. I don't know how else to say it. The last of the wiggles out of themselves before the winter months come along. Because when the winter months come, especially depending on where you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it can get rather cold. It can get rather snowy. There's going to be a lot of indoor times. Now, if you live in Hawaii, where it's probably dropped to like 80 degrees, but still some wonderful humidity out there, then it's obviously winter is going to look a little bit different, but it's definitely a time for change and reflection. And as people are getting ready to go into a more reflective mode, we tend to want to get all of our sillies out, all of our wiggles out. So we do things like go shopping, and I think that's why Black Friday is put where it's put, because it's like people are like ready. They're anticipating the end of the year for the Gregorian calendar anyway. And so with the end of the year, it's like, oh, I got FOMO. I got to get the last of the stuff in. So I got to get the last of like my shopping in. And, I got to make those phone calls to friends, and we got to get together with family and all the people that we haven't seen all year. And so it's like this, I got to do this like last ditch effort. I got to do this, got to do this. So just keep in mind where maybe you might be overextending yourself, like putting too much pressure on yourself to get things done before some Gregorian calendar date. Because remember, there's a lot of different calendars out there, and so why stress over just this one calendar? Not to say we should stress over all the calendars, but remember that technically, time doesn't exist. So, so there's an infinite amount of time to do everything. And if we create our own realities, we can create a reality where we have more time for ourselves. We can create that for ourselves. So, if you're getting a little silly, a little wacky towards the end of the year, which is fine, if it's natural, go ahead and do it. Just kind of understand where some of that is coming from, and if any of it is placing any undue stress on you. Okay, so the cards we have of L'Ermita, which is the Hermit. We have Re de Denari, which is our King of Coins. And we have La Torre, which is our Tower. I love that tower, by the way. Tower, my card of the year. Can't wait for the new card next year. But let's go ahead and put these together. Okay, so while we're going into that, just noticing our energy and just noticing our behavior this week, again, making sure that we're not adding to our stress and things like that, is money might come up this week, especially if we are thinking about buying things for Yule or Christmas, or maybe we're buying things for people's birthdays, or maybe we're buying things to get ready for the end of the year, like the new year or something like that. Then money might come up. There might be oh, I wish that I could show someone how much I love them by buying them this thing, or I wish that I could throw a really awesome party, but I got to buy all these things first. And maybe it's time to just have a little sit down and look see of how much do we really need the money to show people that we love them or to have a good time. Because technically, if you're going to be throwing a party, it could be a potluck. Everybody could bring something. Or maybe it's just a bonfire in somebody's backyard. It doesn't have to be elaborate. But sometimes, there's what we've been influenced through movies and television shows and society is that, our parties need to look a certain way, or that if we love someone, we want to gift them something really expensive, or something like that. Or maybe we want to make them something that has really expensive pieces. But, maybe it's more just vocalizing, having a sit down with somebody and really vocalizing with them how much you care for them, how much you love them. And, and maybe you guys can make something together, which would be, way more fun, I think, at least for me. If my friends were here and we could make something together, for their Christmas gifts or their Yule gifts, like how cool would that be? So just some things to keep in mind, if money issues do come up, just let's take a walk back. Like, where is our money going to? And, do I actually need this to show people that I love them and that I care for them, or that I want to party with them, So just things to keep in mind. Okay, I have determined that the chat is indeed frozen. So I haven't seen the chat for probably like 15 minutes. I only saw it for like the first 5 minutes of this chat. So, all right then, we will just go into Longswords on that note. Okay, let me just put these tarot cards away. Okay, I'm going to have to get up because I can't be doing Longswords while in a seated position. So, like I said, I can't see the chat. I have no more chat. So, I don't know, maybe you guys are seeing a chat, or maybe I'll see it in the replay. Who knows? Who knows in this crazy, wacky world? Okay, so I'm going to put this off the side. Alrighty. So I'm going to show you the first longsword. We call this one the Crusader. This is one that I bought for James for his birthday. It's got a nice pommel here. We have a nice leather grip. It's a full tang, which means that the blade of the sword, it's one full piece of metal, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, it has like the Knights Templar here. It's got a nice leather scabbard. I feel like I'm on the QVC and I'm trying to sell you guys something. I'm definitely not trying to sell you something right now. Okay. So this is the Crusader, unless James comes up with another name. Ooh, look at that shine. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So let's talk a little bit about cord cutting. Okay. So what is it? Well, when we talk about cord cutting, we're usually talking about our healing work and our shadow work. And maybe I want to lift this up. There we go. It's our healing work and our shadow work. And so when we feel like there's a trigger that keeps coming up time and time again, and it's coming up in different situations, but it's hitting the same shadow, so to speak, then we know that we really got to go in, we got to heal some stuff, because this trigger keeps showing up in our reality because it's time for it to heal. And that's, it's going to keep happening until we heal it. So when we go inwards and we go in meditation, and however it is that you do your shadow work, we go in and we look at the issue. At least for me, I look at what it is. I try to look at it from everybody else's perspective, meaning I'm actually putting my consciousness in everybody else's consciousness, you know, trying to literally see it from their eyes. Then we look at the overview perspective. Again, this is just how I do it. You know, what was the lesson? What was I meant to learn? All these souls were playing roles. What role were they playing? Why were they playing that role? What was I meant to see? I thank them for it. I forgive them for it. I show gratitude for it. And then I transmute that energy into light and I place that back in my body. And now something else that we do that we could do, like, I guess, to appease the ego and more of the 3D, is to cut those cords, chop those cords. So basically, those energetic cords that are stemming from that place needing to be healed, entering into our reality, creating those triggers. But we don't want them to keep happening because we're already like working on healing it. So it's like trying to notice within the body, where do I feel this energy cording into this place that needs to be healed? Sometimes we feel it somewhere in our physical body. We might feel it in our stomach. We might feel that it's coming out of my leg. It's going into my head, you know, wherever this cord may be. And then some people do sometimes just a visualization of cutting that cord. For me, I like to do it physically as well as in meditation, mostly because I think it's fun to do in 3D. But also, of course, I know that it's the energetic that actually matters. But hey, you know, we can have fun in 3D as well. So that's why we sell like knives, like the obsidian knives, which would also be called itznap in Yucatec. But that's why we have those for like cord cutting ceremonies and things like that. And I thought it would be cool to do it with longswords. So this is the Crusader. And let me just show you the other one. So this is James's bastard sword that he bought for himself. There's the pommel there. And ooh, this one's a lot more tight. Has good retention in its scabbard. Anyway, this is the bastard sword. Okay. So I am going to start with the Crusader. And let's see, we could pull a card, which you could do, and you could ask, what shadow do I need to work on now while also working on cutting its cords? So what shadow do I need to work on now while also working on cutting its cords, basically cording into my 3D reality? So you could take some time right now, get into a little meditation. I love this sword. Get into a little meditation. Yeah, or pull a card. Maybe just channel it. And let's do a little bit of cord cutting. So let's say I just got out of a meditation where I was working on that shadow, and now I'm standing out here in the sunshine with my awesome longsword, and I want to think about, okay, where in my body am I feeling this? And so maybe I'm feeling it right here in the stomach, in which case I want to do a little choppy with my longsword. Maybe I'm feeling it in my leg. Again, I'm doing a little choppy with my longsword. So you could do that. You could. Me personally, what I think is more fun is just to keep the intention that while I'm swinging my sword around, you know, that I'm doing so with the thought that I'm also cutting my own cords. So yes, I might be doing some sword play and practice, but at the same time, I'm clearing up my energetic aura. I'm just cleaning it out. So let's see, we could go from here to here, to here, to here. So just some things to do with your swords. Now, James is much better at the long sword than I am, but woo, this thing is cold. The pommel is cold. So let's see, we could do so that could be an exercise. That might be a little bit of fun. Okay. Oh, looks like, okay. Yeah, there's no chat. Okay. Oh my goodness. These things are cold. Okay, I'm gonna try it with the bastard sword. And again, keeping in mind my aura and my energy around me. And that every time I swing the sword, my intention is that those cords stemming from the shadow that I'm healing are being cut. You know, they're being cut here, not only in the energetic, but they're being cut here in the physical. Okay, so let's do this again. This sword's a little bit longer, so we just have to make sure that we don't strike it on the ground. So again, I'm just keeping in mind my yeah, okay. Fun times. Yeah, so swinging the sword around. Yeah, so like I said, you could have that intention while you are messing around with your swords. Of course, play safe swords. These are considered battle ready swords, so they are sharpened, pretty sharp on each edge. So these are both battle ready. In fact, all of our swords are battle ready, because if I'm going to be walking around the forest with a sword, it might as well be useful, you know? Okay, but like I said, you could also use it just to energetically cut your cords like this if you wanted to. But like I said, if your sword is actually sharp, be very careful as you just basically, you know, in a nice long sword, get those cords that are in the back there. Very nice. Yeah. I wonder what it would look like with double swords. Oh, baby. Nice. I don't think I could fight with two swords, but anyway, doing cord cutting with two swords, totally up to you. Okay, so yeah, like I said, just have a bit of fun. You know, cutting the swords, you can cut it behind yourself if you wanted to. Coming down, doing downwards chops if you wanted to. Side cuts if you wanted to. Yeah, so just having a bit of fun. Really, I just wanted to have fun in today's live chat. So I'm glad you guys voted on these. All right, I'm going to put this back in its sheath there. Man, it's got some good retention, yo. Okay. Although maybe I might bust it back out again for the guided meditation. Who knows? Okay. Man, my hands are cold. Okay, so since I can't see the chat, I don't think I can do super chats or super stickers, but we can get to the guided meditation then. So again, I apologize that I can't see the chat, but like I can. Okay, so we will do our channel guided meditation. Let's find a nice place for you guys to feast your eyes that is not my mug. So let's see here. How about honest tree? I hear them. I hear the little birdies. All right. So before we get to that guided meditation, I did want to thank my moderators that showed up today. I would like to thank my subscribers and everybody who tunes into these weekly live chats. You know, they're every Sunday, 8 a.m. my time, which is Mountain Standard Time. Arizona doesn't change its clock, so that's why I always change it from Pacific Standard to Mountain Standard, just kind of depending on who is our time, you know, the time of year. But I also wanted to thank my Patreon members who support what James and I do here. And I thank you guys very much. Lily and Dana and Jamie, Kayla, Suri and Brandy, Jason, Brian, Karen, Lisa, Palu, Crystal, Easy Does It, Oz, Joel, Megan, and Casey Gritter. And also to my YouTube members, Kayla and Nancy Astra, Jolene, and Stormy Fever 58. So love you guys. Let's get ready for a guided meditation. So go ahead and get yourself into a nice, comfortable space. Someplace where you will not be disturbed for the next several minutes. And as you're getting yourself nice and cozy, just be reminded that you could be lying down on the bed, sitting in a chair, sitting on a cushion on the floor. Maybe you're sitting out underneath a tree. And as you get yourself nice and cozy, we bring our awareness to your breath. Just feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Noticing your breath. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Where do you feel that breath? Maybe you feel it in the lungs, in the throat, maybe all the way down into your diaphragm, perhaps all the way down to your tippy toes. And when you exhale, where do you feel that exhale from? Is it from deep inside, from the top of the lungs, from somewhere in your throat? We're just noticing, that's all. Continue breathing. But now we're going to take a few more intentional breaths. And we're going to do our box breathing. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, and start all over again. So let's do a few of those. Let's breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and do it on your own. And as you continue breathing in this way, we feel a cooling, relaxing sensation starting at the top of our head. Just feeling the muscles in our face and around our ears just begin to relax with every exhale you take. And exhaling again, feeling it in our neck as we maybe let it lull from one side to the other. Feeling that cooling, relaxing sensation as it moves around our shoulders, helping them to fall away from the ears. Just allow them to become heavy at your sides, allowing that relaxation down the forearms. Continue breathing. You feel it down your torso, cooling and relaxing. Feeling it down into your pelvis. Feel your pelvis relax, becoming heavy. And finally, making your way down to your thighs, your calves, your ankles, and your feet, just letting them fall away. Just relax. Nice and cool, peaceful and gentle. Continue breathing in a regular cadence. And when you are ready, I'm going to ask that you visualize a bowl of water in front of you. And as we visualize this bowl of water, we look down into it. And we ask this bowl, which is representative of our intuition, to show us what shadow needs to be worked on at this moment. Without judgment, without analyzing, allow the image or the feeling or the words to wash over you. See it within the bowl. And now we ask our intuition to show us, perhaps in the form of a blue cord or whatever your intuition would like to utilize. But have it show you where in the body this shadow is stored. It could be in more than one place. Perhaps you see a cord coming from your temple or your lower back, maybe your knee or a big toe. Where are the cords emanating from, connected to this shadow? And now, you can take this time to work on that shadow, trying to understand it, what its lesson was, showing love and gratitude for all involved, including yourself, and in your own time transmuting it into light. For if we release something, we must replace it with something else. Perhaps that transmuted light. But do this in your own time. And afterwards, when you are ready, visualize your own sword. Maybe it's a long sword. Maybe it's a killage or a rapier. Maybe it's a dagger. But whatever it is, we're going to use it to cut away those cords. And once you've done your healing, we cut the cords away, and we know that we will have to come back to it from time to time, witnessing different layers, as all healing is multifaceted. We know that these cords may show up in different places next time, but time doesn't exist. We have all the energy in the world because we are made of energy. And we will continue to cut those cords, and we will continue to heal the center, the trauma, the shadow, the programming. And when you feel you have sufficiently cut your cords, you may place your sword or knife down and look back into your bowl of water, again representing your intuition. And allow your intuition to show you in that bowl of water the possible impact your change in energy, this healing will aid you with. And when you're ready, you may place your bowl down. Thank your intuition for speaking to you today. Come back into your body. Maybe start to wiggle your fingers and toes and have yourself a little stretch. All righty. Okay. So let's see. Oh, it looks like. Okay. Give me just a moment here. So let's grab a deck. Okay, so thank you, Susie, for sending that text message. Like I said, I can't see the chat, so yay, thank you. So, all right, Lily, let's take a look then. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. So what shadow, what cord needs cutting or recutting? Okay, let's have a little look-ski. So I'm using the Gallery of Hallucinations for this one. Okay. First, let's just tap into Lily's energy. Okay, so Lily, as I was tapping into your energy, I started hearing a song from Journey playing. I think Separate Ways is the name of the song. Anyway, so that was playing. We'll see how that connects to your card. You know, so take the love will find you. Take the things that bind you. One night will remind you. Oh, we are separate ways. Okay, let's pull your card. All right, we have the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Well, it looks like this young lady forgot to get dressed that day. But okay, let's see what this is. Okay, a cord that needs cutting or recutting. Okay. All right. So I see what was going on here. All right. So your higher self was saying that a programming that you're still working on, that's a programming that a lot of us have actually, you know, it's a shared one. And that is the placing our self-worth on the opinions of others. So if somebody is displeased with us or they criticize us about something, then you might take it to heart because that is a part of your programming. And like I said, it's one that a lot of us share. So part of that programming is that, whatever somebody else's opinion is determines who I am or how I feel about myself, if I feel good about myself or I feel bad about myself, and that it means a lot to me when people recognize me for the things that I've done. It also means a lot to me when people, congratulate me on, my hard work and things like that. So it's looking for outward validation that we are worthy and that we've done a good job and that we are a good person. And so, like I said, it's one that we all have, but going back in and as we continue recutting that cord, and continue healing and pulling back the layers. We pull back more of the layers in this understanding where I know at a conscious level, you understand that we're all one, that I'm you, you're me. And so technically, if we're seeking this outward validation, we're doing it because we're trying to validate ourselves in some way. We're trying to see our self-worth, but we're trying to see our self-worth through the eyes of other people. And so when we go in, we have to find out where is that actually coming from. And maybe, since you've already maybe worked on it, you know exactly where it's coming from, but let's find some other layers. Maybe it's coming from some other places as well. Maybe it was instilled from parents. And again, they didn't mean to do it on purpose. It's just how their parents taught them, is that the opinions of others mean a lot, in this society, and at least that was their reality. And so they passed it on. Teachers and in school, that's passed on to us that we are a letter grade and that all of our identity and our self-worth is based on our GPA and our grades and the classes that we took. And then later on, our identity is connected to our careers and our families, the cars that we drive, our houses, where we live, and all of this. And so it's all of these labels and things that society, the people around us have told us that all of these things outside yourself determine who you are. But really, nobody knows us like us. That's us going inwards and trying to figure out like who am I really? That's connecting to the higher self. But, it's peeling back layer after layer. And like I said, this is just some more layers to look on in the validation department, in the self-worth department. So I hope that helps to answer your question. And I think the reason I was hearing that journey song and its separate ways is almost like taking that long sword and like chopping, this cord, like, let's go different ways now, where there's the part of me that's like, everybody else's opinions are the only opinions that matter, my friends, my family. And then there's the other mode of thinking, my friends and family are me, and therefore the only opinion that matters is mine. Not to say that I'm shut off to listening to what the outside reflections of myself have to say, but I'm not putting my whole stock of my identity into what they say. I can look at them as a whole separate person with their own ideas, their own reality, take in what they say and filter it through my higher self. So yes, hope that helps. Thank you, Lily, so much. And I believe that's it. Unless Susie sends another text, but I don't see anybody else. Because I don't see anybody really, just see myself. All right. So anyway, I hope that you guys had a fun live chat today. So sorry I couldn't interact more with the actual physical chat itself, but it seems like you guys maybe are actually able to see a chat where I'm not. And I did poke around on the phone and I don't know. Anyway, so let's go. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so I will see you guys next Sunday then. I hope that you guys had a lot of fun. Hope that you guys had fun with the broadswords. Tomorrow's channeling coming out 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is 7 a.m. Pacific, and that is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We took a look at the mantids. So if you've always wanted to learn a little bit more about the ET species, the mantids, the ones that are in the 4D cube, in this cube matrix with us, definitely tune in very interesting, as always, to talk to all these different polarities and beings and their points of view. So yeah, definitely have a little look there. So again, that is 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. Oh, Susie said there is one more. Give me. All right, so Susie says there is one more. Just let me know who. I will pull them a card. Okay, Dirty Work has a question. We're just switching back and forth. We can do this. All right, so yeah, we'll shuffle up the cards here for our friend Dirty Work. All right, and I'll just have a little sip of water while we wait for Dirty Work's question. Thank you, Dirty Work, for this question. So you said anger is a big issue. So basically, is this a shadow work thing to work on? Let's have a look. So let's tap into your energy. Okay, interesting. Like I said, I always get my intuition like through music and stuff like that. So um I was hearing Madonna's Vogue. It's like strike a pose. Um okay, so how does that tie into anger? Well, we'll find out. I'm like, what the heck? Strike a pose? Um let's see here. Ooh, we have enticement. Okay, so let's tap into this. Okay, so what I was getting is that this is definitely a well, it's a programming to go back in and reprogram. So we could take our power back on this one. Nothing is really outside of our control when it comes to this kind of stuff. So um, it was that in childhood, whether this was something learned from people in the family, again, nobody really teaching it to you like verbally, but more just you watching this occur as you were younger, as well as learning it from the people that surrounded you, possibly in school and things like that. But it was the keeping in of your emotions, like being taught that emotions were something that had to be put in check. Like you have to control your emotions. Emotions must be controlled. So like there are times when you're allowed to be really happy. There are times when you're allowed to yell with excitement. There are other times where it's like, oh, it's just not appropriate right now. We just keep it in, keep it in. Or times where you have been frustrated, but now's not the time to talk about it, because, somebody else might get upset and, there's this. So we end up not expressing ourselves because maybe we didn't want the confrontation at the time. We didn't want, whatever it may have been, whatever we may have feared, or, perhaps it was somebody else that told you when you were little that said, you're not allowed to throw a tantrum right now, that everything's just, don't tell us what the real reason is why you're crying or why you're throwing a tantrum, as a small child. It's just be quiet. Usually sometimes that's what parents are like, just be quiet. They don't want to hear what your problem is. Just, quiet down. And then you never really get to express yourself. And so in this holding back in your self-expression, even if it's just little stuff like just being happy at a friend's baby shower or, things like that, just stifling it and holding it in, always feeling like I got to control these emotions, whether we consider them positive or negative, always got to control these emotions. So when something comes up, like let's say like the emotion of anger has a lot of fire behind it. And so oftentimes anger is seen as, at least in this society, if people are angry, like, okay, you're allowed to be angry. Okay, go be angry. So then when we have all this bottling of emotions, everything, that we've kept in, our joy, excitement, screaming to the top of our lungs, or being upset with somebody, all of it gets bottled together and it comes out in this form of anger, where it's really just a mixture of a lot of different emotions all coming up at once. And so, what's at the core of it is communication with yourself. So, like I said, this is something that you could work on reprogramming, but it's trying to really become more intimate with your own emotions, with everything that you're feeling. If you're watching a movie and you want to cry, but you decide, oh, I don't want to cry in front of my family or my friends, like that's lame. But just go ahead and do it. That's part of the allowing it to come out. Emotions are there for a reason, so they can come out. Even anger is there for a reason right now, because it's showing you that you're very angry, having to hold in all of these things. And even though it may not be like conscious now, this is all subconscious, where it's just second nature, where you might not even be aware that your ego is trying to hold in certain emotions, because that's what it's been trained to do, until something tips you off, and then all of it just comes flowing out. So yeah, I hope that helped, Dirty Work, at least having a area to focus in for your next shadow work session. So Susie says it resonated with you. So thank you so much. Wow. Like I said, I wish I could see the chat so that I could. But anyway, thank you, Susie, for being a most amazing moderator. Thank you. All right. Well, if that's it, I guess, yeah, we will be catching you next Sunday. We will have another little vote ski. So if you didn't have a chance to vote for this Sunday's live chat, then definitely vote for next Sunday's live chat. And that will take place on Thursday at some point in time. My Patreon and my YouTube members will get that poll first, and then later in the day, the public will also receive that poll, and that will be on my YouTube channel page. So definitely check it out. Do consider subscribing to the channel. It does help out with the algorithms and showing support and all that good stuff. And yeah, if you do want to check out Patreon or YouTube members, the link for that is down below. And thank you guys for joining me here today. And I'm going to enjoy the sunshine. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.